In this video, I'm going to show you how you can achieve an 800 credit score. The credit score is probably one of the most important financial aspects that you can really focus on. Now, you could probably just ignore your credit score and not follow it, and you'll probably end up around the 500 to 600 range if you're not focusing on the things that go into it. And this probably won't matter if you don't want to get a loan for a car or a house or anything else that might require a good credit. Now, if you don't pay attention to your credit score, this could lead to you being rejected to a nice apartment or even having you to be denied a credit card that you want. Now, a high credit score can open doors to favorable interest rates, loan approvals, and overall financial well-being if you let it. Now, whether you're starting your credit journey or you just want to improve your current existing score, if you follow these tips, then we will get you well on your way to reaching that 800 score. Let's jump right into it. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Chase and this is a Penny Pincher's Guide to Personal Finance. As always, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you get good information from it, then hit that like and subscribe button so we can put more of it out there for you. All right, let's jump right into that video. Before we jump into the tips, it's crucial to understand how the credit score works. The credit score is a 3-digit number that the lenders use to evaluate your trustworthiness. The most commonly used credit score model is the FICO score, which ranges from 300 to 850. An 800 credit score is considered to be an excellent score and puts you at an advantage for various financial opportunities. To build that 800 credit score, you need to be able to build strong foundation. And to build this strong foundation, I have a few tips to get you there. Okay, so the first tip that we're going to talk about is going to be prioritize paying your bills on time. Now, I think most people know that if you have a bill, then you need to pay it by the date that it's due. But if you don't focus on this and you do allow a balance to go through or you miss a specific due date of that balance, then that will be reported to your credit bureau. And paying your bills on time is crucial to your credit report, especially when this accounts for up to 35% of your credit score. So I know life can get busy and you may forget, but you should set a reminder on your phone to pay your bill on a certain day every month. Or you can also set up auto pay, so this prevents you from missing any of these dates and allows you to have a regular basis of payment. As this makes up one of the largest parts of your credit score, I want to make sure that you really focus on this so that you ensure that your score can continue to increase. The moment you miss one of those dates, that is one notch against you. You will have 12 payments per year, and then that will then add up if you have multiple cards. But in the end, if you have no notches against you, that will help improve your score. All right, tip number 2 is going to be focusing on keeping your credit utilization low. Credit utilization refers to the percentage of your available credit that you're using. And the more you have, the more that's going to be counted against you. Generally speaking, we want to keep your credit utilization rate at less than 10% so that the credit card companies and the credit bureau can see that you are a good steward of your credit and do not overspend or overutilize it. Now, credit utilization makes up 30% of your credit score. So making sure that you're not too high so that doesn't get counted against you is very important. What I would recommend doing is either getting multiple cards so that your total credit amount that you are allowed to have increases, or just ensure that you pay off that credit card on a regular basis. And that's not just a monthly basis. I would recommend paying it every 5 to 7 days so that you do not have a high credit utilization and so that doesn't affect your credit score. Another option that you can do is you can call into your credit card company and ask to have your credit limit increased. The higher your credit limit, the more you can spend so that your credit utilization rate does not jump up the moment you spend a small amount of money. Now, generally speaking, you can't ask for these all the time, but what I would recommend doing is calling and asking every 6 months if you can have an increase in your credit limit. And in my experience, I've had no issues with this and it has been able to increase a little bit over time. All right, number 3 is going to be to diversify your different types of credit and have a credit mix. What I mean by this is having some sort of credit associated with credit cards. Maybe you have a mortgage, or maybe you have some sort of loan that will demonstrate your ability to handle different types of debt and handle it responsibly. Now, having a credit mix does account for about 10% of your credit score, and being able to pay back multiple different types of debt without having a late fee is generally expected to be trustworthy to the credit bureau, and that's why they incorporate this in with your credit score. Now, don't take this as a way of taking some crazy loans so that you can help increase your credit score, but if you do have different types of that, then that can help you in the long run. All right, tip number 4 is going to be to keep a long credit history. Now, if you have a credit card that you have been utilizing, but you no longer use it and you have found a better one that you think is better for your current situation, do not get rid of that old one, because that is a credit history that does go onto your credit score. Now, credit history takes up 35% of your credit score, and that's one of the highest ones on there. The longer you have a credit card and some sort of history where you have shown a good standing, the better your credit will be and the better it will go. Now, just keep in mind that if you do have an annual fee associated with one of these cards, then you should consider either downstepping and asking if you can downgrade to one that doesn't have an annual fee, or just consider how important that card is to you compared to your credit history and how much money that's going to cost you on an annual basis. And then tip number 5 is going to be mindful of all of your credit inquiries if you're looking to get multiple credit cards. Now, having too many in a short period of time can look kind of risky and make the credit bureau and other lenders think that you might be somebody that might not be the most trustworthy person with their money. So keep in mind when you're going to be applying for these and space it out appropriately so that's not going to really affect your credit score. Now, applying for these and having a hard inquiry on your credit score is not a big deal, but that will stay on your record for a certain amount of time, and then it will drop off. Generally speaking, after a few months, it won't be affected if you have multiple credit inquiries. But just keep in mind, too many is a bad thing. So those are great 5 tips that you can use to get your credit score up to 800, but how do you even know if you're getting anywhere close to that? You have to be able to monitor it and manage it so that you can get to that point or see if there's any issues with it along the way. So here are some tips to help you with that aspect to make sure that you are managing and monitoring your credit on a regular basis. So tip number 1 is going to be monitor your credit scores on a regular basis. Now, there are 3 big credit bureaus out there that will give you a free credit report if you go on there. The 3 are going to be Equifax, Experian, and the TransUnion, and you can obtain free copies of your credit report from them. I would recommend obtaining those and reviewing them to make sure there are no errors or discrepancies associated with it. All right, tip number 2 is after you've reviewed those credit reports, you need to look and see if there are any inaccuracies and then dispute them. If you do see something, then what you need to do is reach out to that specific credit bureau and have them corrected so that that can then positively affect your credit score, and you shouldn't be having any negative effects from your credit if you didn't actually cause that issue. All right, tip number 3 is going to be looking into some sort of monitoring service where you can have your credit score monitored and they can let you know if there is anything that was suspicious or concerning on your report. If they do see something, they'll shoot you an email, shoot you a message so that you can then address it accordingly with that specific credit bureau. All right, the next tip is going to be similar to what we've talked to in the past, but have some sort of payment reminder to remind you to pay on time. As it was such a big part of your credit score, I want to make sure that you're having on-time payments and you're paying them off on a regular basis and you're not having a high utilization so that you can have that credit score continue to tick up. It all kind of feeds together, and the more that we kind of remind you, the more that it makes it a regular habit to pay them off, the better you'll be. Now, it's important to remember that building to an 800 credit score does not happen overnight. It does take some patience and perseverance for you to reach that point. Keep these tips in mind so that with some time, you will be able to see your credit score grow steadily. Make sure you celebrate these small victories as it continues to tick up and along the way, and remain committed so that you can see your financial goals appear. Celebrate small victories along the way and remain committed to your financial goals so you can hit that financial credit score that you want. In the end, the compounding effect of all these tips will drive your credit score up to 800 in the matter of time. If you're new or a beginner to credit cards and credit scores, then you need to watch this video right here. As always, thank you for watching, and I want to remind you that we are here from your first penny to your first million. We'll see you next time.